Monosens might come in handy here.
Dryad's tears. Oh boy.
Yeah, they've just been sitting here buried in the dirt. These tears. Don't think about it.
So yeah, there was a showcase. Did you want to pull up the announcements? Because actually, I don't know if there was anything more than like the 4 or 5 games.
I don't know, but I did actually just pull up my aggregate source for this stuff. Apparently, World of Warcraft has a battle royale mode now.
More or less. That's more.
Oh, again it says. Again it says. Yeah. They did it again. They brought it back.
They brought it back. I don't know why they got rid of it. It's again temporary event things like this that are just like entire game modes. I don't think you should remove from games after putting them out there unless you actively think it's going to harm your player base.
I mean, if it's like a festival thing, then you know, as long as it comes back on a regular schedule.
Yeah, I mean, oh, okay. This is something I was going to talk about with the Pokemon thing, but I dislike timed events like that, to the sense that there's no other way to get them outside of that time frame. I would rather, well, I want the event to happen, but also like, if we're gonna say like Pokemon or World of Warcraft, there's like the festival, the Halloween festival thing in World of Warcraft. Like, what if there's just like an NPC that like really is really into the event, and they can offer you stuff from the event, not all of it, just some of it, but for like an exceedingly increased cost, because they don't want to separate like from the thing that they're into. So you could get like a couple like cosmetic options, or in some Pokemon, like in case for Pokemon, like, has there ever been like actually like limited Pokemon other than like the events stuff that you have to like go online and then like get a code for? I know there's like some Pokemon where it's, like,
the limit
do it at night.
the worst part. The limit was very high. The limit was very high, but any Dream World Pokemon is no longer accessible. Because the online servers were shut down, not because Dream World ended. It was more that the thing it was hosted on ended.
Yeah. But well, the Pokemon idea I can go back to, but like things like that, like I think is it the Dark Moon Festival in World of Warcraft? It might be.
It says Plunderstorm.
Well,
I don't know.
Plunderstorm's the
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about a seasonal event.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really play WoW, but I know of the one thing. But like, why would they get rid of Plunderstorm and then bring it back? I'm not sure. I just feel like they shouldn't have gotten rid of it in the first place unless there was something wrong with it, like actually broken. Things like the Dark Moon Fair could probably be able to get some stuff from it year round. That way you can not lose access to some cosmetic options or like costumes or something. It's just give options to get the content that you made instead of trying to locking it behind a seasonal event. But you could probably lock some of it behind time frames, because then it's like not an event anymore.
Most of the time I see this sort of thing, there's usually a seasonal vendor that sticks around and lets you spend the currency you accumulate anytime you want.
In the event, you can get like currency from the event, and then you can spend your
The event currency can be spent at any time.
I'm talking about maybe doing a side quest eventually later from like a random NPC who then gives you that currency, so you can then go to the vendor outside the event normal time frames.
You'd have to make that like repeatable, and like I don't know.
I mean, you could make it repeatable, or you can make him a second vendor, and then you could just like pay like an exceedingly large amount of like in-game currency, like gold or whatever nonsense your game uses as currency, like Zenny.
I mean, I can see why.
Just so that it's available, but then not have all of the options. That way the event still feels like it's an event and meaningful, but you don't feel like you completely lost out by maybe starting the game like the day after the event like ends, or like having to wait a whole year to get the cosmetic option because you're like, oh, I want to build my character with this transmog. Oh no, the socks aren't available because they're available in like 9 months. Now I have to wait before my transmog is complete. And now it's now I spent all this time collecting all these pieces and they're meaningless now. Stuff like that, where it's like you could offer a between option where things are available year round while also having the event be meaningful as an event.
Yeah. I see it. I see it.
But anyway, I was going to get around to this idea for the best Pokemon game, right?
Oh, okay. We're continuing with that. Let's go.
Yeah. I want more event stuff like that. Like, maybe the Drifloon are stealing children, and you need to go stop them. So you defeat all the Drifloon, and then like the Drifloon comes and collects the Drifloon, and it's like, oh no. You don't hear the Pokemon, but the Drifloon is like, oh no, my children, they were acting up again. Here, have this reward. And it like gives you like a Dusk Stone or something. I don't know. Just so something that's meaningful to the player.
So you want
and then
yeah, Pokemon's not heavy on those for
and then because of that, you could have it be actually canon that if you didn't stop that, the children got stolen. Whoops. But aside
okay, we don't need to go full Elden Ring.
Yeah, I know. But essentially,
no, but like
more like I guess timed repeatable little mini events like that. You know what I mean?
I don't know if repeatable would be the best.
Well, in a Pokemon game, they don't have to be repeatable, but they have to be like, oh no, these Psyduck are blocking my route over here. But I've also heard that there's this event going on in Route 203. What could be going on over there? And then while you're stuck waiting on the Psyduck blockade, because that's like a story thing, you could go check out Route 203, and there's something weird's going on over there that you could participate in. You know what I mean?
I mean, I do, but I guess the
But
question is, are we road blocking the player or are we open world?
I'm just
Is
using
this-
that as an
is this-
example as to like what you could do in like a story situation. Like say there's the Snorlax with the Pokeflute. When you collect the Pokeflute to go make yourself able to progress. There's also, like I mentioned, something else.
Wait, before you go down this, check. Are you on scan mode?
Yeah.
You are. Okay. Okay, we're good.
But if we're going open world, then you could just have some wacky stuff go on.
I think that sort of thing.
Yes.
If we're doing fully actually open world, you can roadblock optional areas.
The Sea
Yeah.
King's throne is just beyond.
I think I mentioned
Though
this
it would
before,
seem the sanctum is in disrepair as well.
but I've wanted
We've made it this far.
to see more stuff like
Nothing's
the
gonna stop us now.
in the old forest or like Chateau Mansion or
Optional
like,
areas.
With optional
All you
areas,
want- All you
with-
want are optional areas.
with more events.
Is that so much to ask?
Yes.
Game Freak says yes.
It is. Game Freak says yes many times over. In fact, we will delete optional areas from because it takes away from the player's option somehow. They managed
They
to.
almost brought them back.
Oh no. But I like both of these.
Harsh judgment.
Yeah.
No, just because this is just better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you've been stocking up on your mana seeds.
Oh.
Because we just got a new depth. Second to last depth line.
I don't know
Unlock. Wait, third to
what to
last.
think
There's an 80 and a 90.
about the system.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You're not crafting enough seeds. Like if you just craft them, you'll have enough. You're like pretty low on them.
I'm just like, the way I see it is by the time I get to the next level, I have more than enough points to the whole level be like slots open. I don't know, and I don't know what to think about.
Every 10 levels you get a level or you get a bit of a boost. It's because you've been doing everything. This is your reward for doing everything. You have access to the whole thing already. You can craft 9 of these and just stick them in there. If you do the plus, you won't have enough. You won't have enough.
I want the rare up though.
I mean,
Get something else. I won't stack yellows.
That you could have just stacked yellows and not done the plus. You don't need the plus ability. That's stuff to do when you slowly upgrade your slot. Like, oh, all my slots are filled in. Now I can start going for pluses. That's how I treated it, and I didn't have any issues.
That's probably the better way to do it. But I guess I get
plenty of red.
Souls.
You have plenty of red. All right. See, look. Now instead of having the entire line filled, you don't.
I have to sacrifice my yellows. There we go. Work.
Oh, you have a sword plus you could give to Adel instead of a sword. And then you can take that tier 2 off of Karja and give her a tier 3.
Let's catch our breath.
The top right. There we go.
Yep.
All right. Didn't need a new slot for that, but all right. It pretty much is fine.
Kill him.
Where are we now? This is an aquatic stage upon which dances are performed in honor of Lord Ire. As expected, it would seem that none have graced it for some time. The Sea King's throne is deeper still.
Okay, let's get a move on.
Not another step.
That voice!
He just kind of drove down.
Gunnar. Philia. Of all the people out to get us, it just had to be the peerless pair.
That alone should speak to the threat that you, or rather, Rollo, presents. We have orders from the Jarl to subdue you.
This is as far as you go, Princess.
What are you doing?
Adel. Look, I'm sorry you were dragged along for the ride, but Othar is following close behind us right now.
He is?
That leaves only one surefire way to keep Rollo from reappearing.
Doubt you will, but... Don't suppose you can let us go?
Princess.
My sincerest apologies. But the Jarl's commands were clear. You are to be overtaken and put to the blade. Rollo, your life is ours to claim.
I really
Prepare yourself.
wish I knew more about what.
Oh, you burned your revenge gauge on.
Get it?
It's just unfortunate that you burned your ×4 on the weak attack. Oh. Don't kill him too quick. We need to see the animation. There we go.
Not bad.
Not bad.
As well, Adol.
That's just a taste.
Can't stop us.
You know, that's another one of my, I guess, my pet peeves for these, this kind of thing,
Yeah?
where there's like this huge anime scene, and then like all this stuff happens, and then like the enemy just doesn't have any reaction to it whatsoever, other than a, oh, you've grown, or a, that was nice.
Well,
It's like,
it's
what
funny.
are you talking about? I just pulled off this massive anime move.
Well, it's funny because you are paralyzed. It's funny because the implication there is that they can do stuff like that too, and it's like, ah, yes, now you can.
Yeah.
Good.
And
They're not
my-
like,
my-
what was that? Because they can do that shit too.
My pet peeve is one. Well, it has two parts. One is that there's like no reaction, almost. Like they don't get hurt. There's no burn marks. There's no like frost on their clothing or whatever, right? Well,
Well,
no,
okay.
maybe that's a limitation of budget. Okay, but
It's
like,
a limitation of budget. Falcom is
but, like,
not
They could
as much as that
could
would like.
have them like panting, like hand on their knee, like bent over, suffering.
eh.
But
Well, maybe the attack wasn't
the
as strong as
actual-
you think it is.
second part of that is why have there been no hints as to their power of this magnitude before? Because I'm like using magic, and these guys don't have magic. But yet they're like, ah,
Well,
this-
they can't use mana.
I know, that's my point. Is these guys in
So they're
particular-
they're just really strong.
Well done.
There, now they're beat up.
Gunnar, how long has it been?
Mid-fight, the
How long
adrenaline's
have you
still
known I
going.
might turn into Rolo?
Princess. Since the beginning. No. Since 14 years ago, to be more precise.
14 years ago? You mean when my mom died?
I was afraid that was the case.
You know something about all this?
14 years ago, Ilona and Crimson wandered their way onto Serena's island, almost as if the Trident, whom I had sealed away, were calling to them.
Huh?
At the time, the three generals, even in their seclusion, seemed to react to Rolo's blood within Ilona. The barriers which I had maintained for over a century grew on the verge of shattering.
I never knew. But it all worked out, right?
Yes, Ilona assisted me in repairing the barriers. But alas,
Lady Ilona was never a person of strong body. After expending a tremendous amount of mana, she became bedridden. And, in due time...
So, that's the story.
From that day on, the Jarl started gearing up for Rolo's reemergence. Any members of Rolo's bloodline have the potential to awaken as his cruel, merciless self. So he kept a close watch on the Grieger on Serena's island.
And on his own daughter?
Believe me, the Jarl didn't want things to turn out like this either. But you were a likely target. He had to be wary at every waking moment.
I get the picture. But remember this. The one who defeated you here today was not Rolo. It was Karja Balta of the Balta Sea Force! So stand down, Gunnar, and deliver to Grimson this message from me. I'm going to leave Rolo where he belongs. right beneath my heel.
Princess.
Let's press ahead, Shield Brother.
We better hurry up.
Aye. Apparently, Odor's hot on our trail as we speak. And Adel, I'm making the right call here, right?
Yeah.
Mana!
You managed to find the announcement slip.
No.
No?
Hold on.
Okay.
I'll.
I think there's something around
I bet
here.
I could find one here. No?
Found something! Looks valuable!
Xbox Developer Direct. There we go.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, it's just okay. 4 games? There has to be more than that.
Maybe not.
Is really? Oh, okay.
Is it
Well, let me take a look.
Ninja Gaiden
Hold on.
2?
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Okay.
I don't. Hey, look at that. Wouldn't you know it? Thank you, Eurogamer, for not actually listing the games.
That's fun.
Wait, there they are. Okay. Doom, new Doom, The Dark Ages,
Doom, The
which
Dark Ages,
I think had been announced before because that doesn't sound new.
It has been announced before, but we knew limited
Nothing besides the
information about
name,
it.
right? Yeah.
Very limited information.
Okay, Ninja Gaiden 4, Ninja Gaiden 2, and Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
That one looks really good.
And then South of Midnight. So there's actually 5 games.
Well, 4 new ones. Just Gaiden 2, the remake.
True, but it was still a game that was announced.
Yes. Expedition 33 looks really good, by the way.
Oh, the 4 games is because there's 4 of those 5 are coming to PlayStation. That's why it's titled like that. Okay, you're a gamer, you're fine. Confusing, but fine. Write
Combine
better
the
articles. You could say 5 games announced with 4 coming to PlayStation. Instead, you're just like, no, there's 4 games coming to PlayStation. They use the word also. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The Expedition 33 looks really cool.
Does it? Okay.
It's the theme is like Southern grim, like sort of like grim and dark. It's like
Grim and dark.
like cult, like
But you shouldn't combine those, right?
it's not grim dark. I mean, it might be grim dark, right?
No. It's just grim and dark. It's not grim.
Grim
dark.
and dark, yeah. It's not grim dark,
Yeah.
but it's like kind of like a culty southern with the swamps and like that's pretty good. That's pretty neat. You don't see that very often. But other than that, yeah, just Doom. And then whatever that other one was. Just recall those 2, really. And then Ninja Gaiden, which people were happy about. Yeah, those are cool.
Oh, okay. There is one thing that I was like, this might be up your alley,
Yeah.
and I was like, I wanted to make sure to mention it. Dwarf Fortress updated.
It did. Did it?
It got adventure mode.
Oh. Like 1.0 adventure mode?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
What's this?
Which, to go into details for people who are like, what's that?
Let's make
So Dwarf Fortress, right, is Dwarf Fortress. If you don't know what Dwarf Fortress is, that part I'm not going to explain. Dwarf Fortress Adventure Mode is make a character and dive in to the
Yeah.
world.
You're now the character now.
You're
become the
now a
character.
character. Yeah.
It's just
Which
like,
seems interesting.
yeah. So Dwarf Fortress is probably the most large. It's probably the largest like colony simulation game out there. It's very detailed. There's There's lots to go. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot of everything. There are 2 other modes, technically. Now I guess there are actually 2 other modes. One was just basically exploring the lore, where you go. You would generate a world, and then you can go in there and look up like books and like history and characters and like watch them. Basically, just kind of, it's sort of like how you would view The Sims after you got your stuff set up, right? You just like let the world play, and you can kind of like look at things and check out the histories and things that happen. And then there was adventure mode, which was like a huge, sort of a huge thing, because it's like, in addition to it being a massive simulation game where you can build a colony and do everything you would do in like a colony sim game, you could now play as a character and have your own adventures in this ridiculous world, which you can generate at random, completely random. Whenever you want, you can just generate a new world. And it's kind of insane the amount of like replayability that offers. But people could like mod it, and so what's this channel? There's someone who covered Dwarf Fortress, and he like had a mod where he got to play as like a Super Saiyan and was like doing wrestling moves on enemies in the deep dark.
Nice.
But you can do crazy stuff like that with mods. But now that it sounds like the option to have that game mode is fully fleshed out.
I guess so, because this is the version with the, the full UI and everything, and it's the Steam release. So
yeah. So that's interesting. Do you know much about the development of Dwarf Fortress?
No. The development, no. I have been known to dabble in reading some fun stories about people's worlds.
Oh yeah,
But
I think
the development, no.
One of the good YouTubers that does like little story segments, I think it's Krug Smash. He does like drawings for his stuff. I think he does the drawings himself. They're like in like colored pencil or something like that usually. Pretty cool, fun stories. I recommend the channel. But Dwarf Fortress was developed basically entirely up until very, very, very recently by 2 people. 2 brothers. They made it over the course of, oh goodness, it was like 2 decades.
Okay.
And they were just chipping away at random things that they wanted to add, or like things that they would fix. And it was almost like, I would not say directionless, but it was very broad, and the scope was just like immense. But recently they got a team to work with it to release it on Steam, and so they had to make a whole tile set with it, because originally the game was in ASCII. And it still is
Available as such, yeah.
Yeah. But you could get like a tile set by people who made like basically like fan launchers for the game, with extra things so you can manage your dwarves in like a different window much more easily than you could in game, because it's very, very, very because all the features were added on top of each other. There's lots of like UI inconsistencies.
Monosense might come in
Like,
handy here. Found something.
some options use like letters on the keyboard for managing like selecting things in menus, or and then other things will just use the just the number keys entirely, and it's just like, why would you have that be separate? Just have consistency. Some things are like, we're gonna use a capital M for this one, but lowercase m does something different, like completely different, unrelated to this, in a different menu. And if you press it and not hold, like, you don't hold shift or whatever, then you now have to close different menus and have to go back and do what you were intended to do originally.
Right.
Very.
So it's a little convenient but clunky.
Yeah. And then people would mod fixes to that where you can manage your menus are much more straightforward, and basically it's this giant mess of spaghetti. It just slowly got stacked up, and eventually it formed a very nice lasagna that you could eat. But there were some weird spaghetti noodles in there somewhere for some reason. So they released it on Steam, or at least the plan to do so was basically like, okay, we gotta step back now. We gotta iron things out, and so they did that. And that's what the Steam release is about.